My name is Chrissy, and I'm from the Chattanooga Public Library. And for today's history, we are going to be talking about moon pies. So we have a very special guest with us. So special guest, introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. My name is Tori Johnston, and I'm zooming you from the world headquarters of Moon Pie here in Chattanooga on the North Shore. And I head up sales and marketing here. I've been here about 20 years. I eat 1.2 moon pies a day, fresh off the line, which you need to at some point have that experience. But it's a fun brand, and I'm glad to be here and look forward to talking to you.
We are so excited, and we have so many burning questions about moon pies. So,
all right, we'll bring them on.
Also joining us, we have some other library staff. So library staff, go ahead and introduce yourself as well.
My name is Matthew. I'm the teen librarian over in the Eastgate branch.
And I'm Lynn. I'm the teen librarian downtown.
Awesome. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into moon pies. Sound good?
That's great.
All right, so we just have some general information about moon pies. So for anybody who's been living under a rock in Chattanooga, I know that they're delicious, but what is a moon pie?
What is a moon pie? Well, here's the real super easy answer. Think of a s'more. That's kind of what a moon pie is. Moon pie is, depending on the size, it's 2 or 3 gram cookies with marshmallow in between them. And then it's sort of enrobed is the manufacturing term, dunked, covered is sort of our word, in a number of different flavors. Our number one flavor obviously is chocolate. That's about half our business. We also have vanilla, we have banana, we have strawberry, we have salted caramel, we have chocolate mint. So basically it's just a round, I'm going like this, but round product. In fact, hold on. I'm going to show you a moon pie right here. Take all the mystery out of this. So here is a mini moon pie. So let me open it, and I will be able to tell you even better. So again, it's a 2 gram cookies with marshmallow in the middle and then covered in chocolate. If you put it in the microwave for 7 seconds, it is the best s'more you've ever had in your whole life.
Is that their science to the 7 seconds?
It's trial and error, because at about 8 or 9 seconds, marshmallow goes bazoom all over your microwave. So it's
as we were saying, moon pies are magical, and sometimes they apparently make people out of thin air. So what's your name? Where are you from?
Oh, hello. I'm Thomas. I'm a Chattanooga Public Librarian and work at the downtown branch.
All right, so we can go ahead and continue on with the general information questions. So we have read on your website that moon pies were created in 1917 from a request from a miner who wanted a snack size cookie.
Yeah. So here is, I'll elaborate on the story. So basically our general manager was up in the Appalachian part of Kentucky, and he was on a sales call, and Chattanooga Bakery, that's the name of our company that makes moon pies. At that time, we had 100 different items. And sort of the backstory is we started as a flour mill, and we started a bakery as a way to use up the extra 10% of flour that was left over every day. So we had, and everything until the moon pie came along was branded Lookout, as in Lookout Mountain, which is right here in Chattanooga, which is kind of a historic, kind of a touristy type place and sort of part and parcel of Chattanooga. So it was Lookout brownies, Lookout fig cookies, Lookout fruit bars, all these different sort of things. So long ago story short, the general manager was calling on the owner of a general store, and the guy said, "You know what? Your sales aren't doing very well. You got to come up with something new. Your stuff's just not selling." So he's kind of pouting, and he walks outside and he sits down on the front steps of the general store. And as the story goes, his name was Earl Mitchell, by the way. As the story goes, the shift changed, so the miners were coming out of the mine. The moon was on the horizon, about to begin to go down, and he started talking to these miners, and he was like, "Guys, gals, what can we, what can we come up with? Let's just sort of do a little market research study here. And somebody started talking about the fact that they loved graham crackers. And then somebody else chimed in and said, you know what, chocolate's pretty good. Chocolate is good in every instance.
Mhm.
Somebody else allegedly said something about marshmallow. And so Earl comes back after the call the next day to the bakery, and he sees one of our workers who has put a cup of marshmallow up on the windowsill for it to get warm and kind of gooey. And he sees this worker, and this is like serendipity, but this is the true story. He sees this worker dipping a graham cracker into the marshmallow. And he thought, well, there you go. He harkens back to this idea in this story. And he says, why don't we put 2 graham crackers with marshmallow in between them and then dunk it in chocolate? Because the guy reminded me chocolate's good on everything. And so he tells this story to our owners, and they could together sort of come up with this idea. Well, this should be round. And, since that story happened when the moon was going down, why don't we call it a moon pie? And literally, that's about how this story began. And luckily, we decided to trademark it in 1919. This was 1917. And so it was our 101st product. And by the 1930s, it was our only product because it became so crazy popular that everything else just faded away. So there you have it.
That is an epic tale.
I'm telling you, it's epic.
Like, this is like Hobbit style. I love it.
Well, we sort of consider ourselves, and again, I don't know if the kiddos will appreciate this, but we're a 103-year-old company with one brand, and we're a 5th generation family-owned business. And you sort of put all that together, there's this saying, a unicorn, it's like a 1 in a bazillion thing. We're kind of a unicorn in the industry, and we keep chugging along every year. We keep getting a little bit bigger, and we compete against humongous brands like Oreo and Nabisco and all these brands that are so huge. And we've just got this wonderful little nostalgic, delicious brand that people continue to love to tell stories about and remember from years ago. And so anyway, that's who we are.
I have a question, and this one you might not know, and maybe our historian Thomas knows. Were s'mores already created pre-moon pie?
It's funny. The s'mores name has not been trademarked, so we can't really know. But we definitely loosely consider ourselves the original s'more. We can't prove it. And s'mores probably were around campfires back in the day. Maybe that whole thought was what was behind the coal miners talking about graham crackers and marshmallows. But if anybody can't sort of get in their brain what a moon pie is, think of s'more and you're really close.
I want to take on this history project and see, because how cool would that be if, moon pie is such like a iconic Chattanooga thing. And
yeah.
I've grown up here and lived here my entire life, so of course I've known about it, but I'm like thinking of people, somewhere else that are like, oh, I love s'mores, and be like, secretly, you're welcome, Chattanooga.
Yeah.
So we'll have to do some further research on that. So before we move outside of the general questions, does anybody else in the library land, do y'all have any extra questions about the story, or want to throw anything out there?
The first moon pie was actually the size of a pie. And how much did they sell for the first moon pie?
They sold for a nickel. They were a nickel back in the day. So yeah, and so now again, this is 79 to 89 cents individually. So 5 cents.
That's a pretty good deal.
That's a bargain. That's a bargain. All right, so we have some questions about moon pie today. So
okay.
How are they made and distributed?
So how are they made? We have actually in the last several years gone to a nearly fully robotic plant, which is quite amazing. But we form the cookies. Think of an industrial rolling pin. And then we cut out the cookies and we bake the cookies, and then they come around the corner and into a conveyor where a dollop of marshmallow is dropped on the cookie, and then the top cookie is applied. And then it goes through a waterfall, think Willy Wonka, kind of a waterfall of chocolate or whatever flavor we're running. And so then you have, again, basically this with, all the chocolate or whatever flavor again. And after the two cookies have been assembled with the marshmallow, they goes through a freezer where it kind of flash freezes for a minute and a half or two. And that's really more just to dry it before we put it into the wrapper and then into the carton. So they're all made right here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. We have one plant, so every moon pie on the planet comes right out of here. We make about 1 million to 1.5 million moon pies a day, depending on whether we're running the minis or the bigger ones. Yeah, so it really is quite a spectacle to see all those moon pies coming down the line.
So before we move on to the questions about the future of moon pie,
yeah,
y'all have any questions to ask? One's like, me, pick me.
I do. So, Mr. Johnson, you were talking about going into the assembly area, and there would be, you said depending on the day, whether we're running minis or whether we're running other ones. So is there like a schedule? Like minis are on Monday and Tuesdays are strawberries, or like?
Yeah, they're sort of, we can only make one size per day because you have to change over all the equipment to sort of, be this big or this big. So and it really is order dictated. So in other words, if Dollar General has given us a monster order and all they purchase is minis, then we'll be on minis the days before that they need to pick it up. But we try to hit every size, and every size is minis, the big double I showed you, and then the single decker, which is the original, which is basically the double minus one layer. We try to sort of get around the horn, if you will, and hit all of those every 6 to 7 business days. We probably produce minis 3 out of 7 days, maybe 4 on average, doubles 1, sometimes 2, and then singles 1. Because the mini, everybody's into portion control, and everybody would rather eat 3 minis than have to deal with 1 double decker, right? So, so the mini is just really our big thing. Who wants to guess the world record eating contest results for single deckers in 5 minutes? It's 69. And you have to sort of, next time you eat a moon pie and, you're kind of working it down, it's soft, right? But it's got marshmallow, it's got cookie. I cannot imagine doing 69 of those things. And so anyway, there's a fun fact for you.
Was that room temperature or microwaved?
That's a good question. It should have been microwaved and eat it with a giant spoon.
Oh, goodness. Wow. Well, that is massively impressive.
Yes.
Very impressive things. We have noticed on your social media that you and NASA have quite the partnership going on. So what was it like filling in for NASA during the shutdown?
Yeah, we just tweeted each other and talked to each other, and obviously we're about the moon and they're about the moon and now Mars, and we've subbed in for them some when they took a break and they were busy doing stuff, and it's just all fun and it's just all whimsical. And who doesn't love space, and who is not just completely enamored with and sort of inspired by what we've accomplished and where we're going next. So it's a natural sort of mutually fun relationship. And Mr. Bryden is his name, Mr. Bridenstine, who is like the NASA administrator, like the guy who, calls the president every day or whatever. And he's tweeted at us. So yeah, it's cool, but it's kind of, it's made to happen.
Actually, not too long after, I believe Moon Pie started a petition to send a moon pie to the moon in 2024.
Yeah,
I have signed the petition. Just let
Thank you.
So I want to know, has NASA said they'll send a moon pie yet?
We've now been, we played with that and did the petition and whatnot, just to have some fun on social with it. But yeah, I think we're going to have a moon pie go to the moon.
That is great. Is there a particular flavor that's going to go to the moon?
I would think it needs to be our big boy chocolate.
Aside from, the moon or Mars, which is so awesome, so big. Do y'all have other big plans for the future? Like any new flavors?
The next one, and they've kind of come and gone. They're not currently in the lineup. The next one that'll be new this fall is pumpkin spice. It's like we're a little late to the pumpkin spice party, but hey, there's pumpkin spice everything, so why not moon pie? And it's actually very good. Tastes great. We have just reintroduced chocolate mint, which is amazing. If you like Girl Scout Thin Mints, think that taste profile. That's a very good one. And sort of in the theme of Southern and comfort food and just kind of unique, we are playing right now with a key lime for the spring.
So we have just some like quick fire questions. We kind of threw it out to the library staff like, hey, what do you want to know about moon pies? So quick fire. And I'm really interested in this one, and I have a feeling that I know the staff member who wrote this one. So one of our staff members wants to know how moon pies became the official Mardi Gras parade treat in Mobile, Alabama. There's even a song about it called Bubba Likes Moon Pies.
Yeah, there is. So this has been a thing for about 30 years. And basically in Mardi Gras parades, not only in Mobile is the birthplace of Mardi Gras in the U.S., even though it became a much bigger thing like in New Orleans. But now it's like an all the Gulf Coast thing. And, you've got all the parades, right? You've got all the floats and all the people that are throwing beads and cups and all the stuff out to all the revelers and the people on the streets. Well, they've been out there for hours, and they thought, well, let's throw them something to eat because they've been here. So they started throwing Cracker Jack boxes, and that became a thing for a while. And then all of a sudden they have these complaints. It's like, hey, I wasn't hooking, and I just got hit in the head with a box of Cracker Jacks. Not cool. So they said, what else is Southern and iconic that we could throw that would fly well and that's cheap, relatively inexpensive? So it became a moon pie. So literally we sell millions of mini moon pies to parading organizations every year all along the Gulf Coast, and they're throwing off these floats.
Do you know off the top of your head how many flavors there have been in total? I know you said you've had like the fruit basket.
Yeah, I would say, honestly, probably 10. Chocolate, vanilla, banana are the staples, and together currently today those three add up to over 90% of the total. So you can see some of these other little flavors are just little seasonal promotional flavors, but we'll see how pumpkin spice does. Maybe that'll become part of the mix, but chocolate, vanilla, banana. And it's a very weird thing. We love it, but consumers are not only are they sort of loyal to a size, like I'm a double decker guy, or I'm a mini girl, or whatever, but you got banana people, you got vanilla people, and you got chocolate people. And we get a lot of consumer mail. Hey, I went to Walmart in Tupelo, Mississippi, and they didn't have my banana, so I left. They were like, why didn't you buy chocolate? And it's like, because I'm a banana moon pie eater. So it's just a unique thing that people are very flavor loyal as well.
That makes sense.
I'm a banana person.
You what?
I said I'm a banana person, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. See?
I prefer original chocolate. Definitely.
I'm a vanilla person.
Last question I had was, so there's a moon pie store in downtown Chattanooga. Yeah. And I want to know if you're coming out with new flavors, especially pumpkin spice, because I love pumpkin. Is that where I can go get the most fresh, off the line moon pie? Or
for sure, we make they order all our newest stuff, and they get it. Literally, we'll make it on a Monday. They'll pick it up on Tuesday, and it's in the store on a Wednesday. It hadn't even cooled down yet. So that'll be the freshest moon pie you'll have. I'll assure you.
I will definitely be down there as soon as pumpkin comes out. And I go there quite frequently. And for anyone watching, no, the person that runs a Twitter handle does not work down there. So
I have one other question, if that's all. So one of the things that we had in our list of questions was when we were thinking about the new recipes. So, Mr. Johnson, do you have a favorite moon pie, like, concoction or enhancement that you have seen that you tried yourself that you just really loved?
Yes, I do. One of them is we call it moon pie banana pudding. And so what you do is you take banana moon pies and you cut them up and you mix them in with the vanilla or the banana pudding and the sliced up bananas, and however you would otherwise make them. But you basically throw in banana moon pies, and it is to die for because it gives it this, a lot of graham, and I'm just telling you, try it. In fact, I'll send you this recipe. There is, believe it or not, a thing called the National Banana Pudding Festival over in Nowheresville, Tennessee, in the middle of nowhere, where they miraculously get 20,000 people on some Saturday in October, and they have a banana pudding contest. This is, I think, the 5th year. So a recipe, what's your spin on banana pudding? The moon pie banana pudding has won it, I think, like 2 years. So it's crazy good. So you can probably Google moon pie banana pudding and get the recipe, or I can send it to you, but it's really good.
That's awesome. Thank you.
We would love for you to send that to us, and we could actually even put it at the end of this video.
Yeah.
If anyone at home is interested in trying out a new recipe with, following that one, or you can partake in our challenge to create a new recipe out of moon pies. So that is the challenge for everyone at home with this video. So we are very excited to see what y'all can come up with. And, take a picture of it, send us the recipe, and tag us on Facebook or Instagram. And I bet you could even tag Moon Pie on their Twitter.
Oh yeah, we'll pick up on it, and hey, we may even take it to market. So don't get too enamored with your idea. We may steal it.
I like it. I mean, would that not just be the most amazing thing ever?
I mean, it would be community collaboration for something in Chattanooga.
Hey, and I'll tell you one last thing. Just if you want a moon pie just that's out of this world, pardon the pun, just get a moon pie and put it in the microwave for 5 to 7 seconds and put it on a plate and then just eat it. Take it out of the wrapper, of course. It is a s'more. So, I mean, it's just crazy good how different and frankly, I think better the moon pie tastes if you nuke it. And if you do like a mini, it's 5 to 7 seconds. If it's a bigger one, it's maybe 8 or 10. But you'll basically see the marshmallow start to rise, and when it starts to rise, that's your time.
We'll definitely have to try that one as well. I have a feeling that it's so hot right now that I would just put mine outside in the sun.
Yeah, put it on your dashboard, and it'll do the same thing.
Do a science experiment that way.
Yeah.
Well, we want to thank you so much for taking the time to.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yes, this has been so informative. I am so excited to go buy a mini moon pie and try that out. So, so thank you again.
Okay, well, you guys are great. Thanks for inviting us, and appreciate you being a moon pie fan.
Yes.
Thank you so much. A huge fan.
All right. Take care, guys. See you later.
Mr. Johnson.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye.
All right.